Very well. I'd like to call to order the council meeting for Carthage, Tennessee, November 3rd, 2022. Would you call?
Yes, ma'am. Councilwoman Knappel. Councilman Babcock.
Here.
Councilman Evil.
Here.
Councilman Peters.
Here.
Councilman Petty.
Here.
Vice Mayor Reese.
Here.
City Attorney Griffin.
Here.
Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes from October 6th meeting?
Motion to approve.
Motion
Second.
approved. And a second, any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. We have no bills over 10,000. On the mayor's report, I just wanted a couple of things good things that have happened in the last couple of days. We had a wonderful hometown Halloween event. We want to thank the Chamber of Commerce and the Smith County Events Committee for putting that together and hosting it. A lot of local businesses provided candy. Our police, our fire department, our sheriffs, American Legion, Justified. We want to thank all of them for providing a lot of good candy for the kids. And a special thanks to George McDonald and his wife Susan for providing a hayride around town. I think everybody had a really big time on that. If you want to see some photos of that, it's on our Carthage, Tennessee Facebook page. Veterans Parade is this Sunday, November 3rd, starting at 2 o'clock.
That's on November 6th.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, 6. November 6th is the 3rd, excuse me. And it starts at 2 o'clock, ends at the courthouse, and there's going to be music following it, so please come out and support the men and women who have served our country so well. We appreciate what they've done. Just a reminder from some of our citizens that there are crosswalks at the major intersections downtown, and if you see someone starting to get into a crosswalk, please stop for them. The law requires that. Apparently, a few people have not stopped recently. It was a near miss, so please remember to do that. We have the weather siren has been installed. The first testing of the siren will be second Friday of each month at 1 p.m. because South Carthage is testing theirs at noon. And Derek and his report can tell us a little bit more about it if you have any questions about that. We're up and running for some major water and sewer infrastructure grants from ARP and TDEC. We'll know in a few more weeks if we made it through the first cuts of all of those. It could be very, very, very helpful for our water and sewer department to help replace some lines around town. And that's my report.
Nothing for me.
Okay. Danielle, you have
I don't have anything unless you guys have questions.
Chief Davis, please.
Guys, I don't have anything. Y'all have the monthly report as usual, and if y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them this time. That cover it?
Public Works, Leslie.
I don't have that unless y'all got any questions.
Water, sewer, Derek, you have?
Main Street water line's completed. They still got just a few touch-up things to do here and there, but other than that, it's completed. Still waiting on the pumps to come in for the Turkey Creek pump station. Other than that, I don't have anything else. They're going to finish up the camera of the sewer system. Should be done Monday.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for all of your good work on that. Water plant, Mr. Rusty.
Everything's running good, normal this month. No issues, and we don't need any money, so if y'all got any questions?
Wow.
Today.
Today, okay. Caveat, today. Thank you. Wastewater?
I don't have anything. If y'all got any questions, I'll try to answer them for you.
Okay. Chief Hyde said he couldn't be here tonight. He's teaching a class, but he did leave us a memo, up-to-date memo for that. As far as grants and engineering, I think Derek covered some of what we're talking about on that. So we're going to unfinished business. The first one is traffic lights that we just discussed, Main and Jefferson and Main and Second. Councilman Eagle, you want to add anything else to that?
Yeah, I did have another constituent reach out to me and said that they were against the traffic light. So right now on my tally, it's 3-1. So, but I was asked to bring up specifically Jefferson. And so I don't know if we want to make a decision on that tonight. Also, since there's going to be, a possible new change in things, if it might be prudent to wait till then, possibly.
Do you want to make a
It's,
motion to table
you know,
till next meeting?
So, yeah, if you all are okay with that, I can do that. That way, it's just, I think that would be just a little bit more ethical if we do it that way, so.
And probably to get some input from our police department too.
Yeah, and I feel like more people probably have an opinion on this, but, I mean, we put it out there, so it is what it is, but, yeah, so. All right, well, I'll motion to table this to the next meeting.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll table to next meeting, okay? We have a resolution regarding the personnel policy of the police. Chief and our attorney want to speak to that?
This is a resolution to amend the personnel policy of the town. This establishes a 14-day work period for police officers. The only thing this really changes is that it allows the town to calculate overtime every 2 weeks instead of every 1 week. And that just works better for the way Chief Davis wants to set the schedule up.
Do you want to add anything to that?
I think it's perfect. I appreciate the attorney helping us with this.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
guys.
Thank you. Fight Avenue drainage issue, we, Mr. White is not here. but-
Evan's not here, but Les and I both
They didn't
kind
come up here and look at that Pine Avenue drain. He done some figuring, he didn't send me no figures, but I talked to him. In order to help that problem, the piping on the road up there is going to be bigger, but when you make that pipe bigger, you go, come on downstream, keep it big too, because if you don't, it's going to cause a bottleneck up there.
He's basically said it's a domino effect all the way down.
That's kind of what we were discussing was not necessarily that at that drain that there's an issue.
Yeah.
It's down from that drain that the issue is,
Yeah.
and that's where it starts coming up and becoming an issue. That's where it starts coming up. So I don't think the issue is necessarily at that drain. It's just downstream, basically. So
Well,
that's what I.
Pipe ain't hardly big enough on that road, period. When it comes to hard rain, it just ain't big enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Councilman Petty, did you?
Are we talking the west side or the east side?
East side right up here.
Okay.
Yeah, east side, yeah. So, but I mean, yeah, hard rain, anything, but this was something that was like getting clogged up further down
Yeah.
and just slowly creeping up. And so I think it's not necessarily something we need to repair right there. It is just something down the road, downstream that we do need to look at. And, you know, it'd be good to get a report on that whenever you can come in.
Okay.
So I'll motion to table this till, Engineer White can come in.
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Update on CMFO applications, we've actually had 4 applications, a couple of them quite good, but we haven't had a chance to go through meetings with all of them because they're not all available right now to be considered.
I'd like to make a motion to table this until next month.
Second.
All right, motion to table, second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, animal shelter, Councilman Eagle?
Yes, so I think we've all heard about the animal shelter. I was speaking, just kind of texting back and forth Dr. Duke about it, and kind of what seemed to be better for the city and for everything, and this is just an opinion, you know, we all have opinions, was that we remain privatized, but because there are ordinances that we have to enforce, and we don't necessarily have the means to enforce them, it might behoove the city to start looking, I mean, seeing that we are the only city that's donating right now, but this not necessarily being a charity organization, it's not necessarily a charity, it's a nonprofit that's doing a job that typically governments do. So that being said, maybe working to help get regulations out of the way so it makes it easier for an animal shelter to move in. Because apparently what had happened is they secured a place just right down the road. Everything was good to go.
Outside of the city limits.
Outside the city limits, yeah, everything was good to go. They were about to close on it, and then all of a sudden they found some kind of ordinance on whatever that said they couldn't do it. Instead of the county getting out of the way, they just used that to block it. So maybe we as a city, if we do have something here or an area here to do it, we try to make it easier for them to do it. However, it might not be good to
There's
do
still a
it
lot of state and
as far as
federal.
our as the government doing the shelter. So,
That's,
I think that this would require a workshop, because if there's so many ordinances involved, we could go through 5 or 6 ordinances, have to change piece in this one, a piece in that one. We don't want to get in here and do it halfway, we want to do it the right way.
yeah.
So I think we need a workshop and get the citizens to see, say, hey, do you guys want an animal shelter in the city, or don't you want an animal shelter in the city?
And maybe Dr. Duke call in.
And maybe, we can invite them to the workshop and see what we can do, what the parameters for an animal shelter within the city limits would be. Say, yes, I want it, no, I don't want it, kind of like traffic lights. That's my proposal.
Councilman Petty?
I believe we need to learn to work with the county, that this is a countywide problem, not a city problem. And we need to get the 3 entities plus the county together and work this through in a joint work session.
Yeah.
Try to get going on it.
I'd
I agree.
100% agree with both of y'all on that, and it might not be something that's a one-time workshop. It might be something
No.
that takes a few workshops, just us educating ourselves. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I'm still very ignorant on it, as much involved as I've been on it. There's still a lot of aspects I'm pretty ignorant on.
Well,
And
it needs to be a committee that works on it and then brings it together.
yes, and that way, and I just say maybe if, it just doesn't seem like the other cities or the counties leading the charge on this, so it needs to be all 4 of us. But maybe if we lead the charge on it, we can start bringing them in, and we can show these volunteers that, hey, we are trying. We're trying to do something, and, and we just kind of work from there, so.
If I'm not mistaken, the county there is a committee, animal welfare
Okay,
committee.
we need to get
that
more involved with it.
Just appointed.
Yeah.
And
So that-
talk to people like Putnam County, they got
If I'm not
funding for
mistaken.
theirs and all these other counties. It's a major problem that we don't need to ignore and try to get it taken care of.
Yes, sir.
Then I'd make the motion to table this till next meeting, or till we can come up with a cohesive plan.
Do you mind if I amend or just on your motion on that?
Sure.
I'd like to see if this is, because I may be here next month, I may not be. But I'd like to at least see it just be something that's continued on, at least get an update like once a month that says, hey, this is where we are, nothing's happened. Or this is where we are, this is what happened. That way it's just a kind of a continual thing until we've seen something happen. Does that,
Let me throw in one thing, that just because there's a committee involved, it does not have to necessarily be elected officials. I mean, any private citizen, my daughter.
Shameless plug.
No, penalize her. Anyway, I think there could be a lot more people involved with it, and if we can get the county and the 3 entities together.
I think we could work on that and get that done, I really do.
yeah, so I think we're all agreeing to just keep this going, keep it on the
Yeah.
table. Okay,
All
cool.
right, good deal.
All right.
I'll second
Okay,
yours.
thank you.
Thank you.
So we have a second to table. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, number 6, update of Butler Alley. Les, do you have?
I live after that speed bump, I see no reason to take that speed bump out.
Remind me where that's behind, where's that? Oh, it's between Jefferson and
Carmack.
Carmack, okay.
What about patching
One
that
block
spot
off.
there,
One
that spot to patch,
What spot are they talking about patching, is what?
by the speed.
Where Tully's is.
Yeah, give me a shout, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Home place.
You seen it?
Yeah, I
Close to you go.
understand.
Picture of it, or you been there?
The whole
Go.
bunch you
Yeah.
saw.
A picture of it, or you been there? and
I've
seen
been
it?
there and seen it, I take pictures now, but yeah, I was asked to address it at city council, so I'm doing my due diligence. But I'll be happy to show you, just give me a shout tomorrow, I'll run up there.
Okay, anything else about that? So we're just gonna,
As far as the speed bump goes, leave it.
I thought we
Make a
voted
motion.
last month
We did vote on
to
it.
leave it alone, why,
We-
so.
So we're gonna look into
Still
the.
looking at
Look
the
into-
patching.
We were supposed
The
to look into
patching, but not
patch,
the speed bump.
Yeah.
I went ahead and looked at the speed bump too, anyway.
I'm good with that, I just thought we had it all.
I think if it needs
Done.
patching, we just leave it to your discretion to do that.
It needs patching.
If we have a motion.
Okay.
Well,
All right,
stays
thank you.
here.
All right, moving to new business, increasing ACH draft limits. This is something that Cindy and Cashier asked. They have it at 30,000 right now for the whole insurance up to 35 because we tend to go over every month. Yes, sir.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, motion approved, second. Any discussion?
Just explain kind of what's, so we're doing the ACH draft limit over 30K, is that just like drafting everything out of here,
That-
from
that's
one
for-
account to another?
That's for our water sewer bills.
Okay.
So right now, we have, according to Cindy, we have
We have two businesses.
Two businesses
That are
taking-
pushing it over our limit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so
it's just an agreement
it's
for the
like
bank.
two specific,
Yeah,
okay,
it's-
gotcha.
they moved in, started using water, and
I
it's,
didn't know if it was like
I still got a problem
a
with what
Yeah.
you read.
transfer.
Right. The bank
Okay.
just requires a vote by the council
To
in the
approve,
minutes
yeah.
for them to do this. Do I have a motion to do that?
we already did.
And there's a second.
And a second.
Okay, any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Was you
Next.
for it?
I was for it, yeah.
Then we have Steve Key has we had something we thought was passed years ago, but apparently we can't find this. Would you want to address this, Steve, please?
Yeah, during the I&I study we're doing, while they're cleaning out some of the lines, Derek got hold of me and said, we've got some problem with grease buildup in some of them. So in order to address that, I got hold to Danielle about looking at our fat oil and grease fall ordinance. Now, what we have found out, I think, is in 2017, this was brought to the council, went through both readings and was passed, but somewhere during the process, she can't find the paperwork or the records.
Nobody signed off on it, and there's no minutes to reflect that it passed.
So what we're basically doing is bringing this through again. In our municipal code now, we have very little documents on grease control or car washes. This controls, the grease put in the line, car washes, grease wherever they're doing oil changes. And so it's just the same ordinance. We're going through the procedure again so we can have the ordinance to go back on. Once it's passed, what I'd like to do is all the businesses that this pertains to, is send them a copy of the ordinance. It's self-explanatory, and send out contact information where they can give us a list of who we contact, put it on file. Then if we have any problems, we can go pull the contact. Derek, myself, or maybe Cole, whoever's responsible, we'll just go talk to them and say, we may need to pull your manifest and see when the grease is pumped or what's going on. But it covers the money we're putting into the new collection system. It helps cover the expense and takes care of our sewer lines. So that's
Okay.
basically, we're just redoing something that was already done once.
Okay, Councilman Babcock, Councilman.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Petty, did you have this?
I agree 100% with what they're trying to do. I think it's my understanding that this came from the state, is that correct?
That's correct.
Well, I see a major problem with it. In section 1 says the town, city council, Tennessee, town, city encourages all users of the sanitary system to take voluntary steps to reduce. Well, then it gets around in the back of this and talks about what we can do if they don't voluntarily do it. If it's voluntary, we can't touch it, I don't think. I think the state needs to reword this, and beyond that, that should be under the restaurant people that, Board of Health, and it should be a state problem. They should not throw it back on us. It goes back to the same situation we had with trying to reduce the speed limits, the weight limit on the bridge. It's something we can't enforce. We need to contact the state and tell them they need to get busy and straighten this mess out.
Well, this is not the state, it was MTS that sent us a.
Well, same difference.
We already have an ordinance about this, it's just not to that degree, it's already in our ordinances, no.
Well, it needs to say it's unlawful. Instead of-
Section 4 and Section 5 cover that.
I think they do a very poor job.
Yeah.
He did say it could be reworded if we needed it to.
It needs to be reworded, and they need to be the ones enforcing it. I don't think the city cops need to be going around testing the fat coming
Well, it
out.
would-
Well, it wouldn't be law
No.
enforcement.
It
I
would
think
be-
what it is if Derek and them have a line that's backed up and they go to fix it and it's got a lot of grease buildup in it,
Which we just had.
if it is connected to a couple of businesses that's supposed to have grease traps or whatever, they have the right to go ask for their manifest or see if they've got a grease pit, if you've been dumping your grease in it, or who pumped your grease and what, to make sure they're not dumping it down and stopping our lines up.
And if I'm understanding, this gives you the authority because you're.
Yeah, as far as what the municipal code says now, the superintendent of the wastewater
Right.
plant's the one with authority.
Right.
And it does have it in the codes right now, about grease, grit, oil, and oil traps. It's just not as in-depth and give you the information that does, but basically, right now, anybody that blocks the line, the city could at that point go cut their sewer off. If they're calling it, they could make them pay for it to clean out, so.
Just to help put it in visual terms, when it gets to your place.
Well, what's happened over the years is it's become such a problem with like Lebanon's so huge now, but they started their own pre-treatment program, but they all put in a fall program. So every business that puts in, they go out and inspect, make sure they got the right size grease traps in. They go through all this procedure where most of Carthage is older, you know? And we're just chasing it from, Paul can probably tell you a lot more about it. But what we're looking at is we're going through and rehabbing our sewer lines. And we don't want to rehab them, spend a lot of money on them, and have problems that we don't have the ordinance to take care of, basically.
Yes.
And there's, there's parts I agree with you, Councilman Petty, and definitely some parts with you, because I've seen, I can see what those pipes look like without the grease going in, it is a pain in the butt. It is a pain in the butt to deal with those pipes. So it is something that I guess we need to figure out, is this something that, is the state mandating us to do this, or is this something that we want to do? Because I feel like it's.
No, it's already in our charter, our ordinances. This just makes it, and it was already passed on 2 readings.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been signed, so.
Well, if they haven't been signed, it's not in our ordinances.
Yeah.
If you can't find it, it's not enforceable.
But we do have it in the municipal code, so,
Right.
and this is just more in
What
depth.
brought it to our attention now was Derek and them was out here with the bunch cleaning out the lines, doing the camera. And Derek can tell you, was it a 6-inch line that was
8-inch.
8-inch? And how much opening was in it?
Out of that 8-inch line, there's probably a 2-inch opening.
2-inch opening, so you had 6 inches built up with grease. Okay, and they're trying to rot it out with the truck. Well, we got to address that. This helps us as far as the city. It's a fog program, that all grease program. And like I say, I'm not for jumping on anybody, but if we give everybody, if this is passed, everybody has a copy of this, they know what the ordinance is, and it makes it easier for us to go in and look at the manifest. But if that line plugs and somebody out there doesn't even have a grease pit, we pretty well figure they're pointing down the drain, and.
So this just helps you do your job better.
It does, and it protects the investment the town's making in the infrastructure on their sewer line, so.
Yeah, so I don't think anybody, from my understanding, let me talk for anybody, but is against doing it. I think the question is whether or not we want to change the wording on it. So I think that's what we need to figure out is, for the most part, I believe we want to do this. It's just, is the wording in there what we want to use? That's what we need to
The
figure out.
state has really done us a very bad injustice in putting out this crap.
So do you want to make a motion to change the wording and
We
see
got
what
a
happens?
motion and a second on the
Yeah,
table.
go ahead and vote it.
We would need
I'll
to-
vote my conscience.
We could.
I'll take my second back if that helps.
He'd have to read
Or, I mean,
the
you
motion.
can pass it on first reading and then have
Yeah, we can
Attorney
always
Yeah, this is
Griffith
first reading.
That's-
amend it.
That's
by
what I was
the
gonna say, we
second
can
one.
pass it, and then we can make the changes to it that we want and finalize it on the
Yeah.
second reading.
That's a
Yeah,
good.
this-
That way we don't have to wait 2 more
I'll
months.
go with that.
Yeah, this came from MTS, is
Yeah.
where the
Well,
ordinance came from.
sometimes
We have
they're a little
motion to
liberal.
pass on first reading.
Yeah, we've got a motion and a
Brett
second.
Ward with MTS.
Okay,
Do I hear a motion to pass on first
Yeah,
reading?
there was.
We already
Yeah,
did.
there's
You already got
a-
that in a second.
Just
Okay,
waiting for,
second.
There's
already
a-
got it?
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And would you let our attorney know specifically what kind of language you would like to change it to?
Well, I'm not trying to be an attorney, but this is a no-brainer with what it's got in that
You want to
section
say
one.
something is illegal, so that somebody knows what
Yeah.
they can do and what they can't do.
It's like, I would like for you to do so-and-so, but if you don't do it, I'm gonna arrest your ass and.
We're not playing around with this.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Excuse me
The
for
next
the
one
language, but
is
I just,
sensor for light on Main and Third Avenue. Councilman Evil, what is that about?
The sensor is something you put underneath of a.
Well, I know, but what it specifically is your request here?
Oh, well, my quest, let me button up for the
road
quest here.
Your request.
Oh, my request, I didn't say quest, I was like, oh, I guess. I'm
Request,
gonna
request?
So what, basically, I don't necessarily think we need one on Third, I think Third, or sorry, Main. Main's just gonna always be Main is Main. But you'll sometimes have that light go off 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in a row, and there won't be a single car there. And it basically, I think that this, before everything gets paved, this will be the time to do it, because there's been I can't tell you how many dozens upon dozens upon dozens of people over the years that just said, wish they just put a sensor on this stupid light here, so we don't have to sit here and wait for nothing to happen. It'd be a time to put the sensor in just on Third. I wouldn't say you need one on Main. I don't think that's Main's gonna always go. And it just says, hey, a car's here, puts red on Main, and the car goes through, and it's a quick light in and out, and then Main goes back to normal until that sensor
I
trips.
think, if I'm not, Chief, it's a pressure plate we're talking about, is
Yes,
that
yeah,
right?
that's a sensor.
Yeah.
Well, but.
But if
you
it's
have
gonna be on
to
Third,
move
it won't
all the way
affect the
around.
paving anyway.
Yeah. It's gonna happen once.
That's what I'm saying, so it won't affect the paving.
I mean, unless we know those exact inches of what we're paving, and especially there, we just had some new stuff repaved down there on the sidewalk, and there's just, that whole thing's patched. There's probably gonna be repaving done there eventually, and you got Main going on,
Are you talking
and
about a loop or a sensor? What are you talking about? A loop and a sensor, two different things.
I'm just, a sensor, now.
It's on a loop right now.
Forgive my terminology, okay? If there's no one on Third turning, the light should not turn green, okay? They're not turning on Third either way. The light should not turn green for them, okay? Because Main's always got traffic going. But if someone pulls up, then it turns green for them. But putting a sensor there, that would really do a lot of benefit. We'd probably stop having the traffic light problem where everybody's like, well, I wish it would stop at 6, I wish it would stop at 8, I wish it would stop at
Is
10.
Chief back there to kind of address that?
I'm here.
Could you kind of address this, what we're talking about?
Which loop now, I'm sorry.
Well,
It's not really a law enforcement issue.
well, I know, but traffic-wise, we're talking about at Third and Main, having a plate or a loop or whatever you want to call it, that if, Councilman.
Yeah, so.
Talking about like installing one of those.
Yeah, just putting a pressure plate, I guess it would be a plate, putting a pressure plate on Third. Just on Third, I don't, now again, I'm not an expert here, I don't think you need one on Main because it just turns the light on for 15 seconds or 10 seconds.
But no other streets.
Doesn't need it on Main because Main's always going. Main's
I'd
just
say the
constantly going.
biggest problem that'd be cost and probably how much they'd have to change. I don't know if just putting in the thing in the ground would actually,
If it's compatible with the light system we have now.
like what's already in the box, you would maybe have to change some of that stuff. I know when we just fixed the one down there at the traffic light, I think Walmart just replacing the thing that was broken in the ground was about $5,000 just to
Expensive.
dig that up and put that back in. But they already had everything else that already worked together with that. So I don't know if you have to add extra stuff, hardware or software, I don't know.
Who we
Just
talking?
food for
Well,
thought.
we remember when they changed the big thing there at the intersection, that was a lot more too. So we'd have to get
Yeah.
an engineer involved to kind of.
Well, the other thing is, obviously, and that, some of this stuff will be fixed when we have the new
Right.
parking, but coming in and out of there, you cannot see what's coming, and if you
I
have that
agree.
sensor,
It's not-
that'll help you roll through. So that being said, I mean, if we can at least investigate the cost on it,
Can
that would be great.
Councilman Peters have it.
Yeah, we're discussing this and we haven't even brought it up for a motion or gotten a second for it, so.
Good point.
All right, do we have a motion? We want to make a motion?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we investigate the cost for a sensor on Third Avenue in Maine.
Or, is it called a loop or a sensor? What's it
A
called?
plate.
Only thing I know about is a loop. I don't think there's any sensors.
I think
or-
Brent will be
I
able
don't
to
know.
figure it out.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay, all right.
You get-
So
yeah.
we're,
I've got it.
motion
Yeah,
to
just to investigate the cost.
Do I hear a second to that? Okay, and for lack of second, we'll move on. Okay, letter of recommendation for TDOT.
Yes, I have the wrong address on here though, but I'll get you the right address. And it can be, we can put on this letter whatever y'all want to, but it basically just asking, because we don't have the authority. It's just saying that we would like to, as, thanks Steve.
Yep.
We would like to ask TDOT to put some of the weight limits that we've recommended on here, or give us a recommendation.
We just got a letter from TDOT, so are you referring to, what are you referring?
No, we send TDOT a letter.
No, we have one from TDOT, we just got it. That will-
You received a letter from TDOT?
Well,
So-
yes.
So what I'm saying, Mayor Smith, is that we don't receive a letter. We send a letter to TDOT requesting that they put some restrictions on the bridge.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We've been in conversation with them
Mayor
since the
Smith,
last meeting.
again, we don't have a second, and we're sitting here discussing this stuff.
Okay,
We're gonna
would you
do
like-
this thing
would you-
again.
Would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we send the following letter to TDOT, and the point of contact's name is Mr. Hester. The letter would read, "Thank you for taking time to listen to some concerns we have in relation to the Cordell Hole Bridge located on the Cumberland River between Carthage and South Carthage. Recently, our beautiful bridge was restored after several years of work. During the years the bridge was down, almost our entire downtown Carthage economy was wiped out, with very few businesses remaining. Since its reopening, our downtown is once again booming, in large part due to our neighbors in West Smith County and Wilson County. Last summer, the bridge was down for several days, resulting in huge losses for our downtown businesses. It was noticeably different. The city council convened to work on a solution for addressing the weight issues so as to extend the life of the bridge. Unfortunately, we realize that we do not have jurisdiction here. Therefore, we are requesting that TDOT changes the weight restrictions on the bridge and adds signage to signal these changes to the many commercial drivers in that weight class. We are happy to listen to recommendations. We had drafted the attached ordinance, which was not voted upon due to the current jurisdiction or lack thereof of Cordell Hole Bridge. We thank you for your time on this matter and look forward to hearing a reply on this matter. Sincerely yours, and it would be by us. And I put the ordinance that we had, and obviously it would be something that, you know, if they have a better recommendation, obviously they're TDOT. But something that helps keep that bridge open, keeps the weight off of it, and protects our downtown bridges. So that's my motion, to send a letter close to that, or, you know, I don't mind making amendments to it. I'm all ears.
Well, there's a motion, do we have a second to that?
Second.
Okay, then in discussion, I do need, because since the last meeting, we have had several conversations with our contact at TDOT, and we've had back and forth, and they did send us this, basically, saying that, yes, we can go ahead and do what you're just saying, so, it's basically a,
TDOT sent a permit to allow
we
the
just received
town
this.
to go and put up signage with the weight restrictions in this ordinance.
Heck yeah.
So they, because I said they said it was okay, I said, no, we need something in writing from you, and she just sent this to us, their attorney. And it's through our regional director, whatever, but, so we do have, if we want to do this, we do have a permit to go ahead and change out from 28 tons to 13 tons on that bridge, both sides.
Steve was first, but.
Yes, sir.
Well, for one, we didn't not vote on this because we didn't have jurisdiction. We voted on it because we could not enforce it because South Carthage is not going to enforce it on their side. Therefore, it would be a one-sided enforcement. That's why we voted not to vote on this thing. So therefore, I'm going to vote no again on this.
Since though, again.
I'm going to vote no again.
Okay, but may I, we're in discussion, since we had that last.
But it was Councilman Ebel's turn to speak.
I was just gonna tell you what South Carthage has told us since then.
It's Councilman Ebel's turn to
It's
speak.
fine. Because it might be turned. Go ahead.
They were waiting to hear from TDOT also when I talked to the mayor there,
Okay.
so this is just brand new, we just received this.
Okay.
So I would suggest, let's,
What I'd like to do then, Mayor Smith, is I'd like to rescind my original motion, because this letter is obviously not applicable anymore. And I would like to, since now we do have official in writing
and we can make
documentation
some
from
copies to give to
TDOT,
everybody.
and we have to go through 2 readings, I would like to motion that we adopt the ordinance that was written before, ordinance CO-20220804804-2. And because that goes through 2 readings, we can see what South Carthage does, and we can do the whole process again officially now. So now that, hopefully that'll alleviate the concerns, because now that we know that South Carthage is.
Now, what's the
possible
Cliff Note
to-
version of what that ordinance C00 whatever was?
It's right here.
It's right here. It's on the second page there, Sam.
But
Cliff Note version, 14 and a half feet, 26,000 pounds or 13 tons, and
No more than 2 axles.
no more than 2 axles. That's the Cliff Note
And
version.
TDOT is okay with us doing
Yeah.
that, but they want us to put the signage up. And they did say in this, they do own the bridge, so this permit is giving us permission, and South Carthage
Yeah.
to go onto the bridge to put that signage.
So we can take the first step, and South Carthage can take their step too, and then we can do, we'll be back to where we were before. However, now we have official blessing from TDOT, so those arguments we don't have to worry about that anymore. So I've got a motion, I don't know if I had a second or not.
Okay, so,
We had to, we started discussing. Bill seconded your
Okay.
motion.
I did.
Second. Oh, thank you.
Bill, did you want to add any, you haven't had a chance to-
Wait, Bill, you seconded
Yeah.
adopting the
The
ordinance?
first time, first one.
No, not adopting the ordinance.
No.
No, he did, that's what I didn't think I got a second on
Yeah.
the ordinance.
I'll second it now.
Okay.
Okay, so we have
I thought it was.
a motion and a second on the ordinance. Since we, in fact, have permission from TDOT, we do want to go ahead with that. Any further discussion on that matter? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna make the motion that we table this because we don't know exactly what South Carthage said and didn't say. I'm just saying, we've been told information before that because I've got emails from their mayor.
Well, we already actually had voted on it one time, but we can, whatever y'all would like to do.
That means kind of the situation we just had with what you had said earlier with the wording, because we need to have two on it. Let's go ahead and motion. Let's go ahead and vote it in. We can vote it down the next time.
Well, can we amend on that we pay for scales for Chief Davis to go out there and his crew
And enforce it.
weigh these trucks?
I mean, Sam, it ain't that detailed, man. You put signs up, you tell people not to do it. It's not rocket science, and nobody does that. It's not like, it's not a weigh station. It's a bridge that's as common, it happens on every other bridge in the state. We're just asking it happens. I'm telling y'all, this hurts downtown businesses.
Do all the other cities and all the other parts of the state pay for the signage and put it up, or does the state do that?
Depends on the bridge. Feel free to investigate. I go to quite a few places in the state there, Jesse, and depends. I haven't asked who all pays for it, but I can tell you some of them are TDOT, some are city.
Yeah.
It just depends. So this is your tax revenue, and this is protecting your businesses. And I'm gonna go tell you what happened to businesses, and feel free, I'll put me on record, but businesses are down 14 to 30% just that week from that. And you all saw what happened in Carthage the last time that bridge shut down.
Well, I'm not opposed
We're on
to-
record here, so y'all feel free. But I'm just saying, if we don't wanna act on this, be my guest. I'm acting on it.
I'm all in favor of keeping that bridge open, but we gotta do it the right way.
So let me ask you the reverse. What would be the downside to decreasing the weight for the bridge that's written in the
I
ordinance?
think that's an excellent question. What would be the downside? Besides it being a political argument for some reason, but, what would be the downside?
How is it a political argument? What does that
Well,
mean?
let's just state.
No,
I
I asked a question, I'm not gonna
I
answer
asked
the
you a
question.
question first. What's the downside,
Okay,
Jesse?
let's-
You didn't ask me that, she asked everybody at the table what
Let's,
that,
let's,
what that
Answer the
was.
question,
let's
then.
keep this in the
So
framework.
first of all, we
of what we're
both sit
talking
here
about.
as councilmen, you're not over me, don't talk down to me. That's not what we're gonna sit here and do. It's not gonna
Answer the
happen.
question, Jesse.
Okay.
Did you hear what I said?
I
was very
Can
clear.
we keep this,
That was
please,
pretty
gentlemen?
clear.
Here we go.
What's
I was
the
very
downside?
clear.
Gentlemen, let's please keep this in the subject matter
Better
we're
calm
talking
down.
about. We're talking about the bridge, there's some very good points made. This is a historic bridge, we're trying our best, and they even say in their language, we are agreement to help protect this historic bridge. And we're in agreement to helping you do that. They just
Can't we
say.
just pass that out to everybody and
No, let's make some.
then get South Carthage on board?
That's-
Sure. Why don't we just do that? If you don't mind, let me talk to Mayor Nixon tomorrow. We can come back with you and see what they have to say, and we'll give
See,
them copies of this.
I'd like for their council to, put it in writing.
Them
what their vote
address a
is.
letter and an ordinance with it too.
Yes.
So we were waiting on last time.
Again,
They didn't do it.
Again,
But we
I-
didn't have
not
this
going to.
last time.
They're not gonna do it. They've already said they're not gonna
We
do it.
didn't have this last time.
so you know that they're not gonna do it, she knows that they are, and I'm with these
Well,
gentlemen here that says, let's get it in writing from them.
Exactly.
I'm all good with that, and I
I
don't think
too.
we all have any issues with that, so.
No.
Okay, let me
this tit
clarify.
for tat
I'm not
isn't-
saying I know one way or the other. I'm just saying, let's give them the information they were asking for to say, yes, TDEC now is on board.
100%.
So you didn't say that
They said
they
they
are
were
for sure.
waiting to see if TDEC was on
That's not my
board.
point. My point is that you didn't say that.
They were waiting to see if TDEC was on
Hey
board.
Jesse, what's the downside of this?
There you go, man.
Gentlemen,
You're
we
putting
don't-
words out of people's
Gentlemen,
mouths. You're
let's
saying this
keep-
person
Hold-
said this,
hold on,
this
hold on.
person said that.
Let's
It's
keep
not
this above
true.
board. Let's keep this above board. Come on, yes, sir.
Call the question.
All right, there's a motion and a second.
There is a motion and second to adopt on first reading.
It's already been passed on first reading.
Well, then We've already done that.
That's what I'm saying, this would be the final approval.
Well, we can table it the next month.
That's, you can't.
All right, let me, okay.
You can't.
If, you don't mind, because we got to vote on calling the question, but I do have something. If you all are fine, I have no issues with this. If you all are good, let's find out what South Carthage says. I have no issues with that. And have it in writing, no issues with that. We haven't written what South Carthage's intentions are. We haven't written already what TDOT's intentions are. We're going to get this information over to South Carthage, and then we can vote on it.
We can always vote this down tonight, and we can redo it later on.
Yeah.
This does not mean it's dead forever.
But I would like to know, in all seriousness, I'd like to be educated, because I've given you reasons why I think this is a good idea. I would like to be educated on why you all think this would not be a good idea. I would like to know. That's just I'd like to know, sincerely.
I don't mind saying, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think we're going about it the wrong way like we've been known to do.
So you don't think it's a bad idea? No one here thinks it's a bad idea. We think it's just been going around.
The enforcement side of it
Yes.
is not gonna work. And I've explained that to you last time. Tractor trailer comes on Highway 70, turns left on the bridge, there's no sign. He pulls into Carthage, uh-oh, I'm not allowed to be on the bridge, it's only 13 tons on this side. What do they do?
Just turn
They
around.
can't turn around the bridge, that's what I'm saying. We have to get on board with South
Of
Carthage.
course. Well, I think yes, we are. Having to-
He asked me a question, I'm addressing the question for you. So that's why I think it's a bad idea the way it is, without their being on board.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. So what we're saying here now is, if we got South Carthage on board, we're on board.
If we
We
can-
just want to make sure everyone's on board. Are we all?
If it can be enforced, why not do it?
Okay.
If it can be enforced.
That's the thing.
So do you want to rescind and we table this till
Till we
next
get a
month?
letter from South Carthage?
I'm happy.
Because it has passed on first reading,
Yeah.
so.
I'd like to, yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll rescind it, and we will wait to see what happens on the basis of South Carthage there too. And Steve, before, I know you're gonna motion to adjourn.
You got it.
Can I say something real fast too, before you motion? I just want to tell everybody, because there could be a few of us that aren't here next time, and we know that Bill won't be here next time. But
his
I
chair
want to
will
say, Bill, it's been a pleasure serving with you.
Yep.
You've been awesome, and it's been just a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Same with you, Mayor Smith. It's been a pleasure serving with you as well. I know we sometimes do that, but hey, we're all doing what we think's right. And I just wanted to say thank you all very much. And I may see you next month, I may not, but either way, I just want to tell you all thank you, and it was a pleasure serving with all y'all. So.
Can I say something before I motion? We need to second and vote on his removal of the tabling because we haven't voted on that.
I'll second.
We had the table, we didn't vote on tabling yet.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I would have just brought it
Yeah,
back.
well,
but
that's-
I just rescinded my motion, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you made a motion to table it till next month.
Yeah, I'll motion to table till next month.
Okay.
Sam
Okay.
seconded it.
All right.
All in
Any-
favor?
Any discussion, first of all? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that is tabled.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any